Good morning, listeners. This is Roopa Sunku, Chief Evangelist Officer for Touch a Life Foundation. I bring to you a new series called Career Elevations. This is a series from Touch a Life and TALRadio partnering to introduce you to some of the very successful people, entrepreneurs, businessmen, and corporate folks who have done well for themselves. And often enough, when you meet such people, you wonder what the aspirations were and what was the background or the ecosystem that these folks came into, landing them into a successful career, successful position, successful at life at large. So today, I am super excited to introduce you to one of a very inspirational people that I have met through the course of working with Touch a Life. And it's none other than J.A.Chowdary. Good morning and welcome to the show. How are you doing today, Mr. Chowdary?
Good morning, Roopa. I'm doing very well. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you through Touch a Life Foundation radio.
Great. Thank you so much. Let's start off with giving the listeners an opportunity to understand where you are, what you're doing, and how did you get there. So let's break it down and start with a basic introduction of where you are and what motivated you to get to this position or this career path.
Basically, I come from a rural background. I'm basically farmer's son in one of the remote drought-prone districts of India called Anantapur. Anantapur, we define Ananta means infinite, poor, infinitely poor district. So there no water, no industry. So from that kind of a district, in a small village called Batalapalli, I came from that village. All through my education was in government schools, Telugu medium, and my confidence levels in the early stage of my life were very, very low because I was very afraid to talk to anybody, particularly in English. That fear of the language itself was there, and lots of the typical rural India students, how they face. And so in my home, I was the eldest. We were 4 brothers, and my sister was 2 years elder to me. Because of my family responsibilities, at some stage, I realized that I need to get a job. So after my degree, that is a BSc in Telugu medium, I passed in second class, and I thought I should get into a job. I seriously tried to get a job. Those days, no jobs at all. Bank jobs were very difficult because I don't have a first class degree. That too, in Telugu medium, I could not get any job. So instead of just keeping quiet at home, I joined MSc Physics in Anantapur again, SK University, Anantapur. So when I joined the university in the first class itself, all my classmates, they were all distinction holders, first class from convent education. Then I thought, oh, this is the kind of people. Then this time also, if I get second class or third class, then I will not be able to get a job. Then how can I take care of my brother's education, all that thing that came to my mind. Then I started working from then onward. That was a real turning point for me in my life. And that really transformed that I can also do. I have some inherent strength, which I never realized earlier. Then I got university second rank. And afterwards, I got into IIT Madras. Then from that stage onwards, once I crossed that barrier, I could speak to anybody, whoever, without any fear, because there was an intent that this thing, oh, I have to succeed, I have to get a job. Otherwise, my family will be ruined. So with that kind of self-motivation, self-inspiration, I started working towards those goals one after the other. Afterwards, there's no looking back. That's how it happened in my early stage of my education, Roopa.
Fantastic. Oh my God. I was really glad I used the word inspiration because that is some motivation, passion and responsibility that made you get to take the different paths on your academic journey. Fantastic. Let's talk about your work journey after you acquired multiple degrees and was confident with your own abilities and strengths. Where did you start off with your work career?
I started my career in Anantapur district itself. There is a opportunity to join a junior college. I started as a lecturer in physics in a small private junior college. The moment I started teaching the students, I was not able to prepare. I was not able to update my knowledge. Then I was getting frustrated. What is this I'm doing? Then I had to take my dad's permission. Dad, can I resign and join for research program for PhD and all? He said, without knowing anything, I don't know anything. Whatever you think the right decision, you go ahead. So with that confidence, I resigned from a good job, joined for a PhD program at the same SK University where I studied MSc. Then afterwards, I realized that how do I take care of my same brothers? They are all in Anantapur town, and again, I was taking loans from my classmates, and that is becoming again a big problem. Then I started again applying for jobs. Fortunately, I got a job in ISRO Satellite Center in Bangalore. That was the first major breakthrough in my life. I got a gazetted officer post, that too from a prestigious organization called Indian Space Research Organization. So that was the beginning of my tech journey from Bangalore.
Fantastic. Now you are known to represent India in multiple forums for blockchain technologies. So, how did you get yourself into this innovative new venture and a new concept to the business world?
Rupa, right from the beginning, somehow I wanted to do something which is routine things. I always used to dislike, for example, routine teaching the students in junior college. I did not like. Very theoretical PhD program, I did not like. Then again, when I went to the Bangalore, though it was a prestigious school, because of my family responsibility, all my brothers were in Hyderabad, so I had to resign a good post, gazetted officer post, that too in a space research organization. Then I joined BHEL, which is a public sector company, that too the lowest, the junior most job called electron microscope operator. From a gazetted officer, I went to the non-gazetted post just to take care of my family, brothers, and all of this thing. Then I realized that BHEL those days, like engineers versus non-engineers, they were instituting me because I was not an engineer. So I wanted to get into IIT and get engineering degree. So I got through the gate. I got an MTech seat in IIT Madras. And that was again another turning point in my life. So my MTech project got prestigious NRDC Independence Day Awards as Innovation Awards. First time my name came in the newspaper, senior newspaper, and Doordarshan, that was the only television channel at that time. They interviewed me, and that gave me the opportunity to get into Government of India as a deputy director at the Department of Electronics, which is a policy making body. And there I got exposed to what's all happening because that was a policy making body, and computer policy, software policy, software technology policy, all those things were coming from there. And when software technology policy came into existence, I was the one who opted to become the first employee of the scheme to go to Bangalore. That time doing the license Raj, and a lot of people, NRIs, including people like Narayan Murthy and Premji, all those people, they used to come to Loknaik Bhavan, which is the power center, to get import licenses and export licenses, and a lot of bureaucracy was happening. But when this scheme was announced, and when there was an opportunity, I applied for that position. Others did not apply because they thought that being in the power center in Delhi in the license Raj was more powerful than going to some small place in Bangalore. But I opted, without knowing anything, what it is going to take India, what it is today. Just when my intention was I have to be closer to my native place. From Bangalore, my native place is just 2 hours drive in today's highway. So that was the motivation for me, so that I can still mentor my brothers, take care of my family. That was always there in my back of my mind. So update. And when I went there, there was nothing in Bangalore. The scheme itself had a lot of loopholes. And I had an office in Texas Instruments office in Miller Road, Bangalore. That was the first guinea pig company under the STPI scheme. And a lot of issues used to be there initially. One by one, we were able to solve. And that was the seed for today's India's economy. So many unicorns, so many sonicorns, so much of employment we were able to generate from that software technology parks scheme with Texas Instrument as the first pilot. After a successful pilot, then we identified land in Electronic City. That's where Infosys, Wipro, and all the other companies started expanding their development centers in Bangalore. And Bangalore became the Silicon Valley of India because success of Texas Instruments enabled Hewlett Packard, Digital, all these MNC companies. They came to India because there was no license laws. I had all the powers. That was the true single window clearance. I used to give any approval within 3-4 hours time. There's import license, export license, all those approvals were given. And we used to give the satellite station links because there's no connection to US that time. This thing, we used to give data communication links through our STPI scheme at a very, very affordable cost. That really transformed a lot of companies started getting into the STPI scheme. And when one of the IAS officers from AP State, one Mr. Yugandhar, is the father of Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft. One of his visits to Bangalore, he said, "Hey, Chowdary, you are from Hyderabad, and how come Hyderabad is not developed? Why didn't you also develop Hyderabad?" I said, we don't have STPI in Hyderabad, not even internet connection in Hyderabad, no international airport. No, I think you have to. Then I requested him, why don't you talk to my boss and create a STP of operations in Hyderabad so that I can move to Hyderabad. That's how I moved to Hyderabad in 89, 90. That time, no satellite links, no internet facility, no international airport, no institution of excellence like IIT, IIIT, nothing was there. And no company worthwhile operating from there. From that situation in Hyderabad, step by step, I mean, that time Congress government was there in power. I approached them for giving me 10 acres land in Madhapur to create a technology park. With great difficulty, I was able to get the 10 acres. The present Cyber Tower building is located in that 10 acres land. And once Chandrababu Naidu became the chief minister, he realized the importance of IT and the wealth creation point of view, the jobs creation point of the whole economy. He said, first question when I met him first time in his office, he said, when can we beat Bangalore? I laughed at him, said, sir, we don't have anything here. We don't have internet itself is not there, and all the other infrastructure facilities are not, the international schools are not there. How can we? He said, no. He called his secretary, Ranjit Sudan. Mr. Sudan, every day morning, you both come and meet me, and whatever the suggestions J.A.Chowdary is going to give to make IT as the hub, Hyderabad should become the hub and attract all the investments in IT and create jobs. From then onwards, we have seen Hyderabad to Cyberabad, one after the other. We were able to bring it, and today, Hyderabad economy is really booming because the right seed we have put during that period, 90s, and now everything is happening. I was fortunate to get pushed into those opportunities. God was very kind to push me, though I don't have any godfather neither in the government nor otherwise. Only my parents are my godfathers and God, everything. And with their blessings, I was able to get those opportunities, and I was able to utilize those opportunities properly and create those opportunities for the Indian IT industry and also for the society at large. And as you mentioned, the blockchain and all that, I was always, when I became the special chief secretary to the new Andhra Pradesh, and that time again, Chandrababu Naidu, when he was the chief minister of that time, he asked me, since you have done a good job in transforming Hyderabad to Cyberabad, why don't you also contribute towards the new Andhra Pradesh, either Amaravati or Vizag? Then I looked at the landscape. The same formula cannot work now. Whatever formula worked in the 90s, that formula cannot work in promoting the IT industry. So I looked at which are the sectors which are really growing. That time I saw the fintech is really growing very well. Under fintech, new emerging technology like blockchain and all that is happening, and cybersecurity is another emerging technology. I said, okay, so this is the area that we'll focus. We'll make Vizag as the Fintech Valley, and we started within 2.5 years. Rupa, we were able to bring Vizag to become one of the fifth fintech destinations of the world, emerging destinations of the
Wow.
world.
Wow.
Lot of startups, a lot of big companies started moving to Fintech Valley, Vizag. We had a five-day Vizag Fintech Festival. Who's and who's they were all there. When we ran $1 million global fintech challenge competition, we ran in 12 different countries, including India. And that $1 million challenge competition gave a lot of visibility. Many people, they were not knowing where is Vizag. Even within India, a lot of people were not knowing. So that $1 million challenge competition, fintech challenge competition, gave a lot of visibility to Vizag, and Vizag started getting the investments into this thing. So and also same problem, manpower problem in emerging technology was not happening. So I created, I was the one who started AAA to Hyderabad. When Chandrababu Naidu asked me why the industry is not coming to Hyderabad, I said we don't have IITs. So why don't you think of creating one IIT kind of institution? That's how I gave the name of Indian Institute of Information Technology. Later on, it got changed to International Institute of Information Technology, and that today is one of the greatest institutions in the country. Similarly, I wanted to bring the first digital university when I was the Special Chief Secretary to Chandrababu Naidu in New Andhra Pradesh. So we created an institution called IIDT, International Institute of Digital Technologies, and where like ISB, 1 year fully residential in cybersecurity, data science, and analytics, 2 schools, separate schools. Ultimately, I want to make it as a university, but in the meanwhile, there is change in the government. I also left the government. So during that time, blockchain, I was the first one to start the blockchain technology that's going to be the future. And everybody said, oh, it's all hype. Everybody's talking blockchain, nothing is happening. But I ran the first blockchain business conference in Vizag about 7 years back, 2016. So that time, everybody was telling, what is the blockchain? That's the kind of knowledge about the blockchain technology during that time. But I envisage that that's going to be the kind of a technology like internet. It will create a lot of opportunities. Today, everybody's talking about blockchain, NFTs, metaverse, all these things are happening around the blockchain technologies.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I am totally mesmerized. So I want to actually highlight a couple of things that stood out to me, and I'm sure will influence many of those young adults and people working their journeys in whatever field they want to do. One is you never let your so-called disadvantage of a smaller city or a village to impact your future. That, I think, is the stepping stone of recognizing your strengths and forging forward. The second aspect that I think stood out for me was your academic acumen. You challenged yourself with academics and used that as a learning platform to be able to grow and enhance your own abilities. And I think the third one was your almost social responsibility to be able to be that breadwinner and be that stronghold for your family at large. And lastly, and most impressive, is that you never chose to use your network to create the formula for success in any effort that you did with Triple IT or the digital transformation, the fintech recognition. All of this was your innovation. And you said, I can utilize my experiences and my learnings from the past, but I need to look at this as a fresh start. Look at this as something that needs to be developed into an ecosystem, like you said, bringing in the conferences, people bringing in competition, bringing in knowledge founders to be able to kind of make
in
that
fact,
next
Rupa,
step.
I missed out very important thing which I did when I want to create Vizag as a fintech destination. I used a 5M formula. My 5M story was, first we should have a great manpower. That's where we created IIDT in Tirupati. So the second M was money. For startup companies, oxygen is money. So we convinced the AP government to come out with a funding options to invest into the other thing. The third one is the market access. Even if you have a great idea, great funding, and if you don't have business, if you don't have customers, you will die. So market access was the most important, and we started actually socializing with various departments in the e-governance departments in the AP government, that the startup companies coming to Vizag, they should get some 15% reservation, getting some projects in the e-governance and real-time governance and all that. The fourth one was the meetup events. You need to have we can't expect the companies, the startup founders to go all the way to Silicon Valley, to Singapore, Mumbai. It's a very costly thing. So we had to bring those people for networking. So we need to have international events. We need to have monthly events. All those things were planned and executed. The last one, which is the most important, is the mentoring. How do you, handhold them, mentor them, understand the problem, see that they are successful? So this 5M formula really worked in creating the Fintech Valley concept and executing the concept in Vizag. So that is the ecosystem
beautiful.
formula.
Excellent, excellent. So that was fantastic. That was such a nice roundup of your career and your philosophies to success. I'd like to just say thank you so much once again for joining me this morning and talking and making it also relatable, yet your humility is still persistent in your approach, in your perspective, and your delivery. So thank you again for joining us. Is there any last message that you'd like to leave behind for aspiring young adults coming into the marketplace in a very trying time of COVID?
Sure. Actually, Roopa, this is the golden times for India. Why golden times? All these years, we were following the services business. And fortunately, because of the big MNC company R&D is happening, when I was the managing director for NVIDIA for India, a lot of money, billions of dollars money used to come to India to work on the new chips and new software algorithms and things like that. Every, you name it, any MNC like Microsoft or Motorola, all this company, they're investing a lot of people, and a lot of people from Silicon Valley, the product architects, they all came. And now the fund houses are also coming to India. And India, if you compare the last 3 months, Roopa, there were 10 unicorns, tech unicorns. And our Honorable Prime Minister says is a decade. India's technology decade. So, we are expecting that hundreds of unicorns and unicorns are going to come in the technology area, because that is our India strength. And Silicon Valley may move to India. And that is the opportunity. That's the reason why I'm my today's job. I'm 99% of my job is mentoring startups. I already invested in a lot of startups. That is the future. They are going to create jobs. They are going to create wealth for the nation and also for the themselves.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, thank you. That is definitely talking about what is opportunity available around you in the ecosystem that you live today. So thank you once again, and
Thank
really
you,
appreciate your time.
Thank you, Roopa, for excellent questions, so that it makes me to remember, recollect, and tell what is needed for the audience of TALRadio. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, appreciate it.